This installation video is intended to serve as a supplement to the CertainTeed intake vent installation instructions. Be sure to read and follow all the written instructions provided with your CertainTeed intake vent product. CertainTeed intake vent is designed for asphalt shingled roofs with minimum 312 pitch. CertainTeed intake vent is designed for installation on roofs with or without overhangs, and it can be placed up the roof with open soffit construction. For proper ventilation, intake ventilation should match or exceed the net-free area of the exhaust ventilation. Here are the proper tools required: a hammer, utility knife, chalk line, roofing nails, tape measure, and circular saw are needed to install CertainTeed intake vent. Step 1. Remove all old roofing materials for re-roof applications. Measure 5 inches up from edge of roof to mark lower slot line. Measure 3/4 of an inch further up to mark upper slot line. Cut slot with circular saw. Make sure you adjust the depth of the blade to avoid cutting rafters or trusses. Refer to drawings in printed instructions and to the following roof situations for slot dimensions. Roofs with valleys. Cut 3/4 inch slot 5 inches up from edge of roof. Terminate slot 6 inches inside of end walls and at least 12 inches from valleys. Hip and gable roofs. Cut 3/4 inch slot 5 inches up from edge of roof. Terminate slot 6 inches inside of end walls and 12 inches from hip ridges. Chimneys. Cut 3/4 inch slot 5 inches up from edge of roof. Terminate slot 12 inches from chimneys that penetrate the roof. Remove all debris from slot. Step 2. Proper underlayment must be installed on the bare roof deck beneath the intake vent to help protect the integrity of the deck. Use CertainTeed Roofer Select or Diamond Deck underlayment in warm weather climates. Use WinterGuard waterproofing shingle underlayment in cold weather climates. Install underlayment covering from the edge of roof to at least 10.5 inches up the slope. Once the underlayment has been properly applied, cut away the underlayment covering the slot cut into the deck in Step 1 to allow for proper airflow. It is recommended that edge flashing be used underneath the intake vent to conceal the roof deck fascia board intersection. Step 3. Start at rake end of roof so that end plug is flush with end. Making sure the slot is open, position the intake vent over venting slots. Make sure the lower edge of the venting is aligned with the edge flashing. Locating tabs on underside of the intake vent may assist in positioning over slot. When installing in cold weather, leave a 1/8 inch gap between consecutive intake vent sections to allow for thermal expansion. Run the intake vent the full length of the eave, using the reinforced nail holes to pre-fasten vent in place. All nails used to pre-fasten the intake vent and to install shingles over the intake vent should be of sufficient length to fully penetrate the underside of the roof deck. Step 4. Cut the final section of the intake vent to length. The integrated end plug of final section should be flush with rake end of roof. Step 5. Install a layer of underlayment over top of the intake vent, flashing the underlayment beneath the next layer to ensure that the water drains from the roof over the top of the intake vent. Use CertainTeed Roofer Select or Diamond Deck underlayment in warm weather climates or WinterGuard waterproofing shingle underlayment in cold weather climates. Install underlayment over the intake vent, being careful to avoid nailing into the roof deck slot. Using a chalk line, transfer the nail line 2 5/8 inches from drip edge and slot location 5 3/4 inches to 7 inches from drip edge to the top of the underlayment. Step 6. Install starter and first course shingles over underlayment covered intake vent using shingle manufacturer guidelines for shingle overhang and nailing requirements. Avoid nailing starter and first course shingles through the roof deck slot. This area is marked on top of the vent. Nailing patterns may have to deviate from some shingle installation instructions to avoid nailing in slot location.